Hello everyone. So we are going to start the third part of the colloidal dispersion chapter. So in this chapter we are going to deal with different types of the colloids, how do they form, and some of their basic chemical properties. So without wasting any time, let's start. So first of all, association colloids. So as the term itself reveals, association means association of the dispersed phase to form the colloids, as we have already discussed, right? So you see, in the association colloid system, what actually happens? Certain molecules or ions, these are known as the amphiphiles or amphiphils. Now the question is, what are amphiphils? So the thing is, amphiphiles or amphiphils, whatever you used to say, these are the surface active agent, and they generally contain both the type of charges, both the positive as well as the negative. The amphiphils are generally characterized by presence of two opposing charges, either positive or negative, but both will present, right? And these two charges will have affinity. Moreover, the thing is that the amphiphils will also have a polar region as well as a non-polar region. Means the end of the polar region may have, suppose there is a molecule. Suppose this is a molecule. At this end, you might have a positive charge. If it is having a positive charge, it will be a cation. If it have a negative charge, it will be an anion. If it have both the charge, it will be a amphiphils, or you can say it will be a zwitterion. So this is the polar head. This part is the polar head, right? And the remaining part, this is the non-polar head. So these are known as generally the amphiphils. So amphiphils, suppose this part it is non-polar in nature and this part it is polar in nature. The polar part may have any type of charges, right? Now the thing is that, you see, the amphiphils or the surface active agent, they are generally characterized by having the two distinct regions of opposing solution affinity. What do you mean by opposing solution affinity? If this is a polar charge or this is a polar head, it will have affinity towards the polar solvent, that is the water. And if it is along with that, if it is also having a non-polar region, it will have affinity towards the non-polar solvent, right? So the amphiphils have both a polar end. Suppose this is a polar end and this whole part is a non-polar end. This is also regarded as a tail, and this is regarded as a head, right? So within the same molecule, they are in low concentration. Suppose we have taken small amount of the amphiphils, we have put in the water, they will form subcolloid. I repeat, if we take small amount of the amphiphils and disperse in the water, they will form the subcolloid in the low concentration. But what if we add, suppose we have added 1 teaspoonful of the colloid, means amphiphils, in the water, a glass of water, it will be in a subcolloid region. But if we add 2, 3 or more teaspoonful of amphiphils in that particular glass of water, what will happen? The concentration of the amphiphils will increase, right? So as the concentration it is increased, the aggregation between this molecule takes place, and the aggregated molecule have around 50 numbers of the amphiphil molecule associated together. So if we increase the concentration of the amphiphils, there will occur the agglomeration, or you can say accumulation, and these amphiphils, each molecule of the amphiphils in a number of 50, approximately in a number of 50, they get aggregated, and this concentration, it is also known as the CMC, that is the critical micelle concentration, means the formation of micelle, the minimum concentration of the amphiphils that we need to give to form the critical micelle. Now let's see their shape. So the probable shape of the micelles are: number 1, spherical micelle in the aqueous medium. So suppose we put the amphiphil in a glass of water, as I already told you, these are the heads, right? So this head have the affinity towards the water, so the head will remain towards outside. They will form a spherical shape, but the heads, the charged head, this is the polar head, will remain towards the water. The polar heads will remain towards the water, whereas the long tail, these are non-polar, right? So they will try to escape out from the water. They will come in the close vicinity and they will try to escape out from the water. They will form the inner layer, whereas the polar molecule, they are going to, means the orientation of the polar molecule will be towards the outside, whereas the non-polar molecule, it will be towards the inside. These are the polar heads, the round part, these are the polar heads. But if we disperse this MPPLs in a non-polar medium, what will happen? In a non-polar medium, the polar molecule will now come inside. The polar molecule will now come inside and the non-polar molecule will move towards the outside. And this is known as the reverse micelle. It is generally formed in the non-aqueous medium, right? Apart from that, we may also have laminar micelles. So these are the laminar micelles. They will align themselves in a parallel way at a higher FFL concentration in the aqueous medium, right? Now you see, amphiphils are surface active agents. So you must have one concept, that is a Gaggenine. What is a Gaggenine? Gaggenine are nothing but they are the opposite charge ions to that of the amphiphils. Suppose the amphiphils are the anionic molecule, then you must have some positive molecules in between them. These positive molecules are also known as the Gaggenine, right? So the amphiphils may have or may act as anionic, may act as a cationic, may act as a non-ionic, and they sometimes also act as a ampholytic, which is also known as a zwitterionic. Ampholytic means they will have both the positive and negative charge. Anionic, these are the anions, and if positive charge is there, this will be regarded as a cation. If no charge is there, they will be regarded as a non-ionic, and if both the positive and negative charge are present in the head, they are known as the ampholytic or zwitterionic. Clear? So now the types of the colloidal system. See, I have to make a table. Just see, and these smaller parts, they are quite important from the examination point of view. This is the dispersion medium, this is the dispersed phase, types of the colloid that will form, and examples. If the dispersion medium is solid, dispersed phase is solid, then we'll call this colloid as a solid sol. This colloid is known as solid sol. Example is your pearl. If the dispersion medium is solid, dispersed phase is liquid, then it is known as solid emulsion. Example, cheese and butter. If the dispersion medium is solid, dispersed phase is gas, it is known as solid foams. For example, pumice. This is an example of solid foam. If the dispersion medium is liquid and dispersed phase is solid, we all know that it is known as a solution or gels. Example is your jelly paints. If the dispersion medium is liquid, dispersed phase is liquid, and it is known as the emulsion. Emulsion example, milk and mayonnaise. If the dispersion medium is liquid and the dispersed phase is gas, then example is your foam, shaving foam or shaving cream, what we use, or whipped cream. If the dispersion medium is gas, dispersed phase is solid, then it is known as solid aerosol. Example of solid aerosol is your smoke and dust. If the dispersion medium is gas, dispersed phase is liquid, it is known as liquid aerosol. Example is your cloud, mist and fog. Now let's see the shape of the colloidal particle, what they form. So some shape that can be assumed by the colloidal particle. The first shape, it is the sphere or globules. A. The colloids may have sphere shape or globule-like shape. This is A, right? B, they may form short rod or prolet ellipsoid. These are short rod, and this is the prolet ellipsoid. This is the another shape of the colloid. Third is oblate ellipsoid. This is the oblate ellipsoid, and flakes. These are the flakes. They can form flake-like shape. The next type of shape the colloid may have, that is a long rod and thread-like structure. These are the thread, these are the long rod, right? The next one, it is the loosely coiled thread. Another shape of the colloid, loosely coiled thread. And the last one, it is the branch thread. These are the shapes of the colloidal particle. Then now the next part, it is the hydrophilic colloids. What are the hydrophilic colloids? We all know that hydrophilic colloids, they generally have strong tendency towards the water. They are water loving. For example, starch, protein and milk, which we used to encounter in our day-to-day life, right? Now, comparison of the properties of the colloidal solution. Let's compare. So this is the chart. For lyophilic, lyophobic and association colloids, let's compare their property. In the lyophilic, what happens? You see, the dispersed phase, it contains large organic molecules lying within the colloidal range. I repeat, in the lyophilic type of colloids, the dispersed phase, they contain large amount of the organic molecules, but their size, it is in the colloidal range. But whereas in the lyophobic, the dispersed phase contains the inorganic molecules or inorganic particles, thus they don't have tendency towards the dispersion medium, right? So, but in the association colloid, the dispersed phase consists of the aggregates of small organic molecules or ions, which is below the colloidal range. The next thing is that in the lyophilic colloid, the molecules of the dispersed phase is solvated. We have already discussed. What do you mean by solvated? The molecules of the dispersed phase, it is covered by a sheet. It is covered by a sheet of the dispersion medium. I have already discussed regarding this thing in the previous slide, that the lyophilic colloids, they have a sheet of the water molecule above their surface. In the lyophobic, small interaction or solvation takes place between the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium. The next one, hydrophilic or lipophilic portion of the molecule. As discussed in the soap structure, hydrophilic or lipophilic portion of the molecule is solvated depends upon the solvent system. If the solvent system is water, the hydrophilic or the polar part or the polar head will be solvated, and if the dispersion medium is non-polar, then the longer tail part of the soap, will be solvated. The next difference is that the dispersions are generally stable in presence of electrolytes. So lyophilic dispersion, they are generally stable when electrolytes are present. In case of lyophobic, these dispersions are unstable even in small concentration of electrolytes. So presence of electrolyte don't affect the stability of lyophobic colloids. I repeat, presence of electrolytes don't have any action on the stability of the lyophobic colloids, because these dispersions are unstable even in the small concentration of the electrolyte. And association colloids, CMC, that is a critical micelle concentration, can be reduced by addition of electrolytes. So if you are going to add more amount of the amphiphiles in the water, and if you want to decrease the CMC, if you want to decrease the critical micelle concentration, you can add the electrolyte. So thank you everyone for your patience hearing. If you like the video, press the like icon. You can share this video and you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again.